What's up, my dudes? Swaggy K from on TV here. Back on another bang. You know what I say? I hope it is. So, we're gonna continue this love week and this love circle that we are spinning around here, you know, here on Loud TV. And we're gonna be talking about text game fundamentals or essentials. And I'm also gonna follow this one up with cold approach or any other ways to get women. Because, you know, I'm experienced in all those fields. I've gone through a lot of text conversations, you know, so I found a way around, you know, on the internet, so I kind of feel like good about this situation, or at least confident about talking about it. But I will show you like scenarios that like will happen, and I will show you how to respond to those ones specifically. So let's just like hop right into it. A few things to note before we get into this. This is like just in general, so like I'm not gonna go into too much detail about like the Tinders, the openers, and like the Instagram, like DMs or whatever, you know, what, or like how to tame a bratty girl or pass your shit test. And you know, that's not what I'm meaning, like by like shit test where you like, you know, look at the toilet and like, that shit is brown. This is in general text a game, nothing else to it. And the other thing I would like to mention is that none of this is guaranteed to work. Some things work better than other things, like obviously, as I will say in this video. But that doesn't mean that the best thing that I tell you in this video, it may not work on that girl you were texting. Like, you know, everyone responds differently to everything, so, you know, just take that into accommodation for some of these. So now let's like roll what you should not do. Because if you know what not to do, it'll make it really easy to know what to do. Alright, so let's like get out of the way those boring openers like, hey, what's up, you know, also, what's up, what are you doing, you know. I would say don't use those. I mean, saying hey to someone in real life is fine, but like, when you're with text, like, it kind of comes off as like boring, and also here, it's like, you want to be entertained, like, you want to like, have something interesting, because like, in real life, it's hard to avoid somebody. Then in text, you can just like, you know, flip it, like open the message, and it's just like, you know, whatever. And in real life, there is no opening messages. It's just, you know, what happened there, and it happened there. It's none of this like, you know, ghosting people. But you gotta know, it's like, you need those good openers. So now let's talk about the opener, what's up, right? So, you know, I say this one a lot, I say, what's up a lot, and you know, we say in the beginning of videos, because, you know, saying it like, you know, in a text, like just one word itself may be bad, because you're not giving it like a lot of detail. Some texts where I have used was up like in a word, so you know, all this is like clearly contrary, but this is just like in general. Now I could also be like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing is kind of like, what are you doing is kind of like a bad like phrase to say, because like, oh, I'm good, what are you up to? You know, it's like, now I could just flip that whole thing around and just be like, I'm good, getting these games, bro. What about you? You know, it's like, that's like one way I will say you use what are you doing. But I just went straight up, just like go to a girl and just be like, what are you doing? You know, none of that stuff. Now it's just like hop right into scenarios that will play out, because I think scenarios are pretty important here. Alright, so let's get into some scenarios here. Alright, so one of the things that I will run into a lot is, alright, so I've gotten this one a few times about how the girl will, you know, what should I say to open her with? Which is, we'll get into right now, folks. So when you get an opener, you want to like focus on like something that's like exciting and it's like fun and flirty, you know, something like that. Saying hey is good in like real life, but over text, it may just come off as like, you know, too basic for her, and she'll just be like, eh, whatever. Just ghost you, because there really isn't no ghosting in real life, you know, so it's kind of different, you know. But over text, what I would do if I had to say hey, if I had to say hey in a scenario, I'd be like, hey girl, happy Monday, you know, something like that. Which is I'll show you in a minute, is what I actually used here. Would I ever ask, what are you doing either, you know? Now, opening with, hey, how is it going is fine. You want that, like, you know, get to know you talk. But if you do too much get to know you talk, then it will just get boring. And also, you know, these conversations are about having fun here. You know, it's like we want to, you know, we want to have it be an escape for her, not like something that she would just regularly deal with in her ordinary life, you know? You want to be a unique, fun character to her. And yeah, let's get into a scenario here. Here we go. I'm gonna open with, "Hey girl, happy Monday." Now, you can also like switch it up, like if it's like Tuesday, you can say, "Hey girl, happy Tuesday," or whatever. Send these like Ryan Gosling memes I have here, you know, whatever. But the reason why I showed these is because it's fun and it's a meme. You know, women nowadays like memes. Like nowadays, memes are like the thing now with, you know, TikTok. You know, all these like social media like platforms, like comedy is like, you know, pretty much really good on there. You're gonna want to be sending these like really good memes. Now, there's been instances where these haven't worked. Like they're like, I would just respond to that. You know, it happens. Here's one of the instances that I usually will get when I send this one. She'll say thank you. Now, what do I do after she says thank you? I ain't gonna get too needy. I'm just gonna say, "Oh, you know who to go for these." I'm basically incentivizing her to come to me. I'm the one you want. And then I go with how's it going after that, because, you know, I want to get this conversation moving a little bit, get to know what you talk, you know. Now, what if she says, "I'm good, how are you?" And it's like actually like HRU. None of this like, you know, how are you actually like spelled out. It's like just HRU, you know, none of this stuff. So I will usually respond with, "I'm good," then I'll go, comma, "I'm doing whatever." So if I'm like at the gym, you know, getting these gains, bro, you know, whatever, I'll say I'm getting these gains, you know. I want to like make it look like I'm like actually doing something that's like really productive, or like really like, you know, I could literally be on the toilet sending these messages, you know. It's like you could literally just say anything on text messages, you know. It's like that's like one of the magic things about texting that I have pointed out in my previous video. But I will go with here, "I'm good, working on some YouTube videos," because, you know, we are working on YouTube video. You are a YouTube video, Sophia, so congrats to you. Now, just straight up saying, "What are you doing?" That's kind of bad, like sounding, because it's like being like too needy. It's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? Oh, what are you doing?" Like, you know, yeah, that's kind of needy. But here it's fine because I gave her a lot of context. Because then she'd be like, "Oh, you do YouTube, Swaggy K? What's going on there, bro? What type of videos do you make?" I make videos about getting you. That's how we do it here. Now, usually she'll respond to like what she's actually like doing here. When you say you, that's like the only thing she'll pick up. She might pick up that like, you know, "Oh, you do YouTube?" That could also like get into that more like down below. So Sophia responded with, I'm at a Harry Styles concert." Well, boy, I want to be there. But the way that men go wrong here is they'll just say "cool." Now, that's one word that's basic. You're trying to like get a lot out of her, you know. It's like you ain't here to like, you know, just like, you know, be like, well, cool, whatever. So what I'm gonna do is respond with something like, you know, do you like Harry Styles? Okay, now what if she just says like, "Yeah"? Now what I would do here is if she just said "yeah" was, "Oh, what are your favorite songs from him?" You see, building commonality here is also important too. Like I haven't said that I have liked him too. Like I just said like, "Oh, do you like him?" And it's like, "Yeah." I could have also like gone with here like, you know, "Oh, I like him too, what are your favorite songs?" That's like what I kind of am gonna go for here. Now if she says "watermelon sugar" here, you know what to do? Done. You know what to do? No, just kidding. So naturally, I just like wheel this conversation out. We're talking about Harry Styles together. Like, he's so sexy. Like, I absolutely love it, you know. So that conversation has whittled out. What I'm gonna do now? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with, "So where you from?" Or if this was like on Instagram, I'd be like, "Oh, are you from Haverhill? Oh, are you boss? Oh, are you in Chicago?" Right? You know, whatever. If this isn't her bio, like if she's from somewhere, you know, you can question that too, you know, if we're like on a dating app or whatever. But I'll generally ask her, "So where are you from?" Now this answer is like different because like everyone lives in different places. So I'm just gonna say she lives in. So if she says LA, I'm just gonna think she's talking about like Los Angeles. So then there's a good mistake about like, "Oh, well, that's too basic." Now I will ask her, "What do you like about LA?" Question mark. That's what I call a open-ended question. I'm asking her a question that could, you know, lead to like multiple paths. So like, you know, anything could happen, because, you know, I want to get to know like what this girl likes, so that, like, you know, we could have some like commonality together. Well, okay, that's cool. But she didn't ask me up like, "Where are you from?" me too. If she didn't do that, I would then go and be like, "Well, what do you like about LA?" Because, you know, we're trying to build some commonality. Like, you know, maybe she'll, because this is an open-ended question here. An open-ended question is like where it could go any way. It's not like a closed question where it's like, how are you? Or do you like the number 10? You know, it's like, those are closed questions. We're trying to get some open-ended questions here. She says, I like the restaurants in downtown is pretty nice. Now, this may be a little bit basic, but I could also be like, oh, do you like LBC? Which is also known as Long Beach. That's how Snoop Dogg says LBC. He just says, and then she'd be like, yeah. And then I could be like, let's go get together there sometime. Let's go sometime. Bam, day right there. Now, another scenario could be, I move on from this text and like, I ain't gonna get much value from keep talking about, like, at this point, I think I'm just asking her too much questions. I'm just gonna be like, so what do you like to do? And she says, I like to make TikTok, draw, and play basketball, you. Now, I could answer the question, like, I like to draw, play guitar, ride a bike, watch Adam Sandler movies, play video games, ball at recess, make YouTube videos. I don't think she's asking for you to make a list about it, which is I have done in the past. That mistake is true. I have done that. I would just, you know, mention a couple things. Like, I like to make YouTube videos and pet my dog. I would only mention, like, a few things here. Like, I like to make YouTube videos and I like to pet my cat. She's right there. She's cute, right? Now, I could also have another scenario. It's like, oh, I bet. Now, I could also make another scenario here where I could be like, oh, I don't think you're better than me. And then she'd be like, oh, we'll see about that. And then you could be like, well, let's get together sometime and play some 1v1s, you know what I'm saying? So already this conversation is ending in multiple different ways, and it's going out in different scenarios. So, how you take it is very different. Now, this could be a really interesting point here. She says, what videos do you really make on there? Because she ain't gonna maybe, like, not take everything that you do. She could be like, well, I'm interested in what he does on YouTube, so I'm gonna ask about what he does on YouTube. And then I will respond with, I could be basic, but I'm not going to do that here because I'm trying to be fun, like I said in the beginning here. So then I respond with the ones that will make you laugh. Now, I could have easily gone with like, oh, I make comedy, I do gaming, I go chilies with my boys. But the reason why I went with this line is because, you know, like I said, I'm trying to be fun, flirty, and I'm trying to bring a little curiosity here because, you know, in the beginning of these texts, you're a mysterious person, you know, it's like, during those, like, first, like, couple of, like, conversations you have with her over the phone, on like, iMessage or whatever, you're gonna be a mysterious person, so you want to kind of, like, find out, like, things about, like, the other person, or she might wonder about you. If she wonders about you, that's already a good sign, you know, you're already in good range. So I think by saying that, now I'm getting her interested in my channel. She's like, oh, what's funny on Untitled TV? So then she'll ask for the link, and I'll be like, okay, I'll just give her a link, because, you know, I'm not trying to mess around here. So, she likes that, then I'll eventually just come in and be like, alright, so I give her the link, and then she's like, I absolutely love it. And then I say, that's nice, so what do you look like? I probably would have addressed it earlier in the conversation, in this scenario, but, you know, in case that you forgot about it, you could just, you know, like, send a picture, you go, like this? Or, like, you know, going, like, hey! So, you know, I just would recommend, like, you know, you let her know what you look like immediately. Or send voice messages. I'll just be like, addressing the fact that you're not a catfish, so this is a huge problem on the internet about, like, people, like, you know, pretending to be, like, other people, you know, because, you know, I want to be Kanye West, I want to be whoever I want, you know, impersonating, or, so you, like, talking and, like, sending her pictures of yourself, she now knows that, like, you're at least a normal human. Now, I'll just, like, now, if I said, what do you look like, I may, like, add in there, like, what's this, because, you know, I want that follow, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Joe Bria, follow me, right, you know, I'm not gonna beg her to follow me, but, you know, do what you want, right, you know, that's what we say. So then, now she knows what I look like, what am I gonna say next? Okay, so then I say here, nice to meet you, because, you know, you want that, like, good assurance that, like, you know, it's just a back, you know, whatever it is, what it is. But here, if I say it, she'll be like, oh, this guy is chill, you know, he's a member of that big YouTube channel, live on TV, you know, so I'm gonna say here, nice to meet you. I think it'd be pretty cool if we got together sometime. Now, going for the hangout is one thing, but I think going for the hangout is a specific scenario, because all the scenarios here that I've said before was when I took apart something that she said, like, oh, let's play basketball. I'll be like, cool, let's 1v1 sometime, you know, so, whatever. Or I like the restaurants in LA. Let's go to one of those sometime, you know. So this is in the scenario that this is the first text message that you've sent her. I'm just gonna, you know, introduce myself, you know. It's like, I'm not gonna try and like go for the hangout immediately. However, in that second text, I'm gonna go for that hangout. I mean, I might go for it at the end of the first one as like a closer, because, you know, I think if things are on a good note, I'm just gonna, like, you know, go for the hangout. If things are on a bad note, I gotta get it into the positive. So what if she says no? Because this will happen a lot. Like girls will, like, dick around. They'll be like, oh, I'm busy today. Oh, I gotta, you know, go Chewy's with my girls. That will happen. So I will then say, what is your schedule like? This is like affirming that, like, you know, if she's in a place to hang out, you know. This is gonna be like basically like a get to know, like, her, like, schedule, like, so that, like, you can, like, plan a date to go see it. I know a lot of guys who, like, mess this part of this conversation up where they'll just, like, say a text message, like, be like, they'll be super needy, and that would just turn off the woman. So now we're in the scenario that in the second conversation, you're trying to get the hangout. So what is the plan now? Let's look at it. So you've learned your schedule now. When do you pick a day? I will always go for the day that's closest to her schedule. So, like, if she goes, like, she's like, well, oh, I want to hang out, like, a couple days from now. I'm going to pick a couple days from now. Now, here's why I'd say a couple days from now. Because if you go, like, a long time without, like, seeing her, the love will slowly, like, fade out, because she'll just be like, oh, why don't I hang out with this guy for, like, a long time? Then I'll just forget about him, right? I mean, that's also, like, you know, that will be my cold approach video about that topic too. But here, you want to make sure you know, schedule it as soon as you can, you know, and, you know, because we're all out there grinding, you know, getting them gains. So just make sure you, like, pick a day that you know you can do it on. And make sure you can fit it into, like, you don't want to be, like, squeezing in any of this stuff, you know. You want to just, like, make sure you can, like, absolutely do this, you know. If we plan something on the first one, I will usually send the confirmation text. It's not the first text I'll send. I'll send, you know, I'll do my, like, good old, like, hey, girl, happy Tuesday, you know, or hey, girl, happy Friday. Now, what do we do if she says she's not good for day, even though she told you she was? And you gotta ask yourself this, Sophie, are you good for today? Are you sure about that? I guess she just wasn't sure about it, whatever. So then you gotta run into this problem where it's like, you might have to call her out for it. Now, I won't do call-outs or takeaways unless they are absolutely necessary here. So, what I will do is, if I notice a pattern where she will keep on denying, or, like, you know, every time I go for hangout, she doesn't respond and doesn't recluse with her, I will call it out. I will be like, do you just not want to hang out? Or are you always this difficult to make plans with? Because if you're in the scenario where Sophia was taking so long to make plans, or, like, you never follow up on making plans with you, then I'd just be like, well, are you difficult to make plans with? This is calling into question her belief into as, I have also this one too, like, if you don't like me, then I'm just going to leave, you know, because you want to make sure you're spending your time on women that absolutely love you. You know, it's like, you can't spend your time on people that are just, you know, never going to hang out or pursue you, you know. It's just the way it is, you know. It's like, if you want to see these people. I mean, you can also FaceTime too. Like Swaggy K over here. But let's forget about this. What if she, like, just straight up said yeah? Alright, so let's, like, rewind to the hangout part. So we're going to hang out. I'm going to try and pick a time that she is definitely available, you know, because that's what we do here, you know, where she's, like, free. She don't just squeeze you in like any other time. And you also want to make sure you are flirting with her still, because, you know, you want to keep that tension, that tension that will explode when you guys hang out, or when you call, when you, like, do anything, you know. It's like, we'll have a phone call video probably too also in this series. But this is another one. But in the future, we can also go into, like, you know, how to get the girl back after she, like, didn't like you. Because, you know, I've had situations where I've gotten unresponsive women to respond. Believe it or not, folks. So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much at the end here. In conclusion, I would say that texting is a lot more viable solution if you don't really like talking it out in person, or if you had gotten that number from the cold approach you had done wherever, the beach, mall, etc. Because in this day and age, you don't see women every day, or you don't see the girl that you met yesterday at the mall, whatever, etc. every day. So I think having good text game is pretty solid, my dudes. So some final notes here. You want to make sure that you're persistent but not needy. Like, you don't want to be constantly... Like when I was talking to Sophia, I wasn't constantly begging her to hang out with me. I just was like, alright, I'm just gonna take this slow. If she wants to hang out, she wants to hang out. If she doesn't, that's what it is, you know. I'm just gonna go on the next one, right? You know. But I was patient. I kept my ground. I believed in what I believed in. Is it not this? Oh yeah, I think that's one. So being persistent, I believe, is also really important. You know, you want to make sure you stick around, because someone would like to dick around, and they want a man that is there through thick and thin, throughout the call, throughout all the nights that they texted them or whatever. You know, it's like persistence is an important skill. Also, an important skill, reading the convo, because you know, women will often sometimes send crazy sexual innuendos, but you may not get it, and you may interpret it wrong, and then it's back on you. Now it's like you didn't get it, so now she didn't like it. I've seen it happen before, folks. Anything's possible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my great X game breakdown. And I hope you guys take this advice and go hang out with the ladies, right? You know, go see them, right? You know, I want you all to have success out there with these hangouts. And I gotta go hang out with Sophia. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Yeah, a few things to point out here. None of this advice I tell you is guaranteed to work. This is what I've used, and I think I've gotten a lot of success with. That doesn't mean that everything that I've used in the past, like for my texting, doesn't mean it's gonna work for you, you know. So none of this is guaranteed to work, but you know, it most likely will in some scenarios. You know, there's always that chance that it won't though. So I ain't out here like all these other dating coaches on the World Wide Web saying that like this is the line you must use, or else you're not gonna get any pussy or whatever. This is just not, I'm not going to promise that this is going to work, but I will say that like this is better than like using some other things that like may be more controversial or like bad that I will go to in this video. That's all that I'm going to say here about that. And this is just in general. Like, I'm not out here like you're going to go like into how to tame a bratty girl or how to pass her shit tests. And what I mean by shit test is like, it's not like actually looking at the shit and be like, we like that phrase. We absolutely love it. That's some dark shit. Hey girl, happy Tuesday. Hope you absolutely love it. I don't think so, need a fucking shave. Production is moving. And he shuts up when I'm not. That's man. Which way is it? It's like this? Sometimes. And that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, I recommend you guys please like and share this. And remember, guys, have a flipping amazing day.